Good evening, Miss Gonzalez. How are you?
I'm good. How are you today?
I'm good, thank you.
Good.
Well, we are here again for another session, and this time I'd just like to find out what's been going on with you. How things going?
Um, they're going. It's been crazy. But they're going.
Mhm.
Um, she's still on her stuff, doing her same thing, and I'm just like backing away, more and more. So, um, but it's going. She's not calling me as much.
Mhm.
And so when I call her to see how the kids are doing, I just cut the conversation short. I don't
Mhm.
carry on long drawn out conversations because I'm just really, like done with it.
Mhm.
She did tell me though that she's finally gonna take her kid to Kennedy Krieger and get him checked out and
Oh,
stuff. So,
good.
but this she's so called waiting on some blood work or something like that she's waiting on before
Mhm.
she can make the appointment. But that's about it.
Okay.
I've kind of like okay, washed my hands of it. I really don't carry on conversations about it anymore. So
Oh, that's great.
yeah,
All
yeah.
right. So
So
since you're not so much involved with them, so what are you doing for yourself?
right now, just trying to get prepared for the holidays,
Uh-huh.
and and been trying to take care of my grandmom and my honey boo and all of that good stuff. So
Uh-huh.
both of them have been in the hospital, but things are better now, and so but
Uh-huh.
that's about it.
That's about it.
Yep, that's about it. Not doing a whole lot, just trying to smooth
Mm-hmm.
sail on out of the
This,
old year
yeah.
and awaiting and anticipating the new.
Good.
Yeah,
That's good. That's
yeah.
great. Okay, so after the new year, have you thought about what you want to do as far as your singing career? Have you yeah, do you have any thoughts on that? Any
Um,
plans?
I've got a few plans. I'm working on some stuff.
Oh,
I'm
good.
um, writing some more things. Got a couple of, well, one song that I'm in the process of writing. So I'm just trying to work on that when I can.
Uh-huh.
So I carry a little like recorder around with me, and every time I get a thought
Uh-huh.
about a song or a melody comes to me, I just record and sing it, on that so I don't forget how it sounds
Uh-huh. Yeah.
and things of that nature, and just putting together the lyrics and stuff like that, just trying to um, make sure that it sounds right, and
Mm-hmm.
that the words, because there's an art to writing
Yes.
music, so
Yes.
it's gotta sound decent. You gotta have a flow,
Yes.
so, and if you don't have that flow, then you run into issues with someone else or a listener understanding what you're trying to portray through your
Mm-hmm.
music and things of that nature. So I've been working on one song in particular, like I said, and
Mm-hmm.
then the other day I was riding and another one popped up, something, another medley or melody, I should say, popped up in my head. So I was
Oh.
recording that one and singing it all at the same time, trying to, work
Mm.
on that. So it's hard to work on, two songs at one time.
So you have two
So
songs
yeah,
going.
yeah.
Okay.
So I got to put that one off to the side for
Uh-huh.
now,
Uh-huh.
but and try to just finish the
Uh-huh.
other one, and then once I do that, then get in touch with my musician and let him add the music to it,
Uh-huh.
and then send it away to be copyrighted and things of that nature. So
Oh.
that's what my goal is for the new year, to work
Uh-huh.
on a couple of more songs for a new album, a new CD,
New
and
CD. Uh-huh.
and move along that way.
Did you already
So
have some songs recorded?
I wrote an original song
Okay, nice.
um, a couple of years ago, and
Mm.
then I put two more songs on it, two hymns on there, on
Okay.
that one CD. So I do have a CD that has three songs on
Three
it.
songs.
One is
Okay.
the one I wrote, and then the other
Uh-huh.
two are hymns
Uh-huh.
that I wrote. I mean, that I recorded on there. So
Okay.
yeah, yeah.
That's great.
So
Okay. All right. So how do you get inspiration, or how do the songs come to you?
um, a lot of my songs come through life in general,
Yeah. Well,
stuff that happens. Like
uh-huh.
the one song that I wrote, the funniest thing came about, how it came about was that I had locked the keys in the truck, and I was like, now I know there's got to be a key somewhere, for me to unlock this door. And
Right.
so what happened was I went in the house and looked for this and was looking on the mantle for this key. And I was like, I know there's a spare key somewhere. There's a spare key. And so it was like, I found it and I was like, now Lord, please let this key open this door, to this truck and what have you. And so it did. And I was just like, thank you, Lord, thank you, Lord, thank you, Lord. And and all of a sudden I just started singing, for he deserves all glory, for he deserves,
wow.
And I just started singing. I was like, that sounds pretty good. I need to record that because me in my mind, I done forgot it,
Yes.
So I went and got my little handheld recorder.
Yes.
And I started singing it. And so I wrote the song backwards because I came up with the chorus first.
Okay.
And then I went back and added some verses to it, based on how I felt about, God and what he was to me and what I will always do, and things of that nature. So that's how I ended up writing that song. But that's how I get my inspiration. It's pretty much everyday things, because it takes the simplest things to confound the wise,
Right,
So
right.
for me, it's just little simple things that happen in the course of a day. And I sit back and I think about it, and pretty much that's how I get my inspiration.
That's amazing to me. That's a gift. It's a gift.
Yeah.
Okay.
It was just interesting, though. I mean, to be able to, and I don't always write like every day. I'm not writing every day. It's just that, like, one day I might write something, and the next day I'm like, I ain't writing nothing. I don't have anything that I could write. And that was particularly about that song. It took me forever to write it. And then on the actual CD, when we were rehearsing, we had like a little musical interlude. And so the musician was like, you need to put something in there. You need to talk. Because it'll make it, to fill it out a little bit. And so I was like, okay, I could do that. But I thought it was going to take me forever to do that. And I was like, well, our release service is, that's a so-and-so date. So I don't have a whole lot of time. So he was like, yeah, well, maybe you can get to it by tomorrow. And so I left the recording session that afternoon, and I went home and I started thinking about certain things that I wanted to say, based on the words in the song.
Right.
And like within 5-10 minutes, I had what I was going to say, and I had written it down. And so I called the musician back. I was like, hey, are you still there at the studio? He was like, yeah. I said, I'm coming back.
Oh my gosh. Wow.
He was like, what's wrong? I said, I got it. I got the words for the interlude, and stuff like that. He was like, already? I was like, yeah. So I went back over, and I went over it. Like one time I read through it. One time with him playing the track, and everything. He was like, all right, let's record it. So we went ahead and recorded it. So, and it pretty much all just fit right in and fell together. Based on what I knew the words to the song were, and, quoting my favorite scripture, and things of that nature, and just talking about how we praise and how we, everybody has a difference in how they praise the Lord and things of that nature. So however you praise him, it's okay. Just make sure you give him the praise that he deserves, because that's the name of the song, is he deserves. So whatever you do, just give it to him. So yeah.
Wow.
Yep. Some people cry, some people wave their hand, it's a difference in how everybody does it. So, but whatever you do, he deserves it. So, yeah.
That's incredible. I'm really impressed with that. That's great. Okay. So when you're finished writing your songs, or once you completed the song, or let's back up, once the words come to you, what kind of feeling do you get out of that? Like, what are you feeling, and what is that like for
it's
you?
almost like a sense of relief.
Okay.
Because I've gotten it done,
Yeah.
But at the same time, I'm always worried about my audience. Are they going to like it?
Yes.
And then I also know that everybody's not going to like everything that you put out. anyway.
Uh-huh.
But I seek to, when I write, I seek to be inspirational as well as to inspire, as well as to get you thinking about some things in your life, that that you could do, as far as how you praise and worship,
Right.
and things of that nature. So, and just like to give info on how I go about it, and things of that nature. But it's for me, when I'm done,
Yes.
I feel like I can breathe. It's almost like a weight that has been, lifted, that I've gotten it complete, and
Yes.
I can actually, hey, I can say that's one down and maybe another to go. So it's interesting.
Very good.
And like I said, it doesn't always. Sometimes I have a block. Sometimes
do.
I really can't think
Okay.
about things, and then about what I want to say in a song. And so when that happens, I usually just go to my word and I open it up and I just start reading some of the scriptures that I remember, that I recall as a child,
Okay.
that were always taught to me,
Yes.
and things of that nature. And I go back and I try to, I just try to impart some of those scriptures and things, just make them into songs. So I've been doing this, and I had to sit back and think, and I was like, wow, I wrote my first one with my cousin, like I was 14 or 15 years old, but I never recorded it. I sang it one time, at a concert that I did. I had, our choir members, as my background singers.
Okay.
And I've been thinking about whether or not I want to put it on, the next CD, or not. But it's got to be a lot of work, because it's one of those songs that you could tell I was like a teenager writing.
Yeah.
I mean, it was a simple song,
Mm-hmm.
but you could tell it was a teenager writing, and things of that nature. So it's just like the actual celebrities that do that kind of stuff. They make songs that they keep for years and years and years and years, and things of that nature. So I've got that one tucked away, and I'm debating. I'm still debating on whether or not I want to put it on that one, this next one coming up, because I think when I do release the next one, it's going to be all original songs, and and I do have family members that have asked, well, why don't you do a CD with hymns and this, that, and the third? And I'm saying I could do that. I said, but the amount of time that it would take for me to get permission from the person that wrote it, and having to pay out the royalties, to put to the music or whatever, to use that, it's a lot. It's really, especially when you're trying to do it right and not trying to bootleg, it's a lot to have to do, because you have to make sure that you're contacting the right person. Now, it's one thing if the person is deceased, but it's another thing. Like, for instance, the Gaithers, they've written a lot of hymns. And if it's not public domain, excuse me, you really have to get in contact with them and say, hey, can I put this song, on my CD? And most of the time they want royalties from that. So it's when you get into the music business, the music business aspect of music, the business part of it, not just singing or performing. It's a lot. It really is a lot. So I got a lot to think about, and I have to tell my family members, hey, look, I know you like the songs, the hymns that I sing, the songs that I sing that someone else has recorded and all of that kind of stuff. But I had to tell one aunt, and my great aunt, she was, and I said, if you're not going to help me pay these people, then don't expect those songs to be put on my CD. I had to explain that to her. I said, this song that I put on here was public domain. So that means anybody can do it. Anybody can sing it. And you don't have to worry about contacting anybody. But these other songs that you're talking about putting on there, like one of her songs that she likes, it's not really a hymn, but like Wind Beneath My Wings. Who gonna contact Bette Midler?
Oh wow.
You know, who's
Yeah.
going to contact the writer, the
The writer of
actual
that
writer
song.
of that
Yes,
song, you know,
yes.
and things of that nature. And I'm just
Mhm.
like, no, I don't have that kind of time,
Mhm.
nor do I have the money to pay
Right.
for them to even allow me to say yes to do it. I said, so, you know, that's why I'm really sticking to writing my own and having them copywritten, because if anybody tries to sing the one that I have already
Mhm.
copywritten, they got to pay me, you know,
Okay, yeah.
myself or my musician, because he is written on that copyright paper as well.
Okay.
And so when I got the papers back, I photocopied one and gave it to him and said, here you go. Your name is on here. He has rights to it, just like I have rights to it. So if anybody tries to sing it,
Mhm.
you know, and sell it or anything, we both get paid.
Okay.
You know, so it's
That's
one of those
good.
things.
So
So
it's like
yeah,
insurance for you too.
Yeah.
Yes. Yes.
yeah, most
Now, how do
definitely.
you how does that copywriting work? I mean, how much like for is it would you bet Midler get more money than like for you who made the song? Does it matter?
No, she probably it's more like they get a percentage of what I were to make. So if I
Okay.
were to put that song on a CD,
Mhm.
and every time it was played or whatever,
Mhm.
excuse me, she would get a percentage of
Mhm.
what I made.
Okay.
And I would have to
got
pay
you.
her a percentage of what I made.
Okay.
And to copyright a song, it's like $25 per song. So what you would want to do, the best way to do it, is to like get a whole lot of songs
Mhm.
written and send it all at once, so that all of them can be copyrighted versus one at a time. Because each time you send one, that's $25. But if you got a packet,
Okay.
you know, different songs, then
Yes.
you can do it that way. So
Okay.
yeah,
All right.
but it's interesting. It's
Yeah.
a process, but
Yes.
it's interesting because they want to know who's the writer, who's the lyric, who wrote who's the lyricist,
Mhm.
and then they want to know who's the musician, like who put the actual music to it.
Okay.
So you know, there's a difference. The person that writes the words is the lyricist.
Right.
You know, music by such and such, whoever
Mhm.
is the one that did the actual note writing, you know, and
Okay,
things
I
of that
see.
nature. And so you have to send a recording and all of that kind of stuff.
good.
When you send all of that off, and then they just send you your letter back, you know, of copyright and all of that good stuff. Yeah.
I've said it before. I'll say it again. I admire you because that's a gift. Everybody can't do it.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
that's good. That's fantastic. Okay, so you one song is just about complete, right? Or
Yeah.
completed.
Just
And
about
then-
complete.
Just about
Yeah,
complete.
just
And then
about.
there's a second song. So do you have an idea this time how many songs you want to do?
I push myself real hard.
Mhm.
I would say a good CD, you know, I most people say 8 to 10 songs. I don't know if I had that many in me, you know, really for one CD. But I do know that the person I work with, the musician I work with, he has a couple that he said he wanted me to sing, you know, so things of that nature.
Okay.
So it's just a collaboration, but they are original songs, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, so I'm probably gonna do about 8, you know, 8 or 9 on a good CD. But then too, you know, with that, the more songs you put on the CD, the higher the cost for the CD that you know you sell it for.
Yeah.
And again, that's the music business.
Yeah.
That's the business aspect of the music. So we did, like, my first one, we did 3 songs. So I only charged like $6
Okay.
for the CD, you know. And man, the first 100 I ordered sold.
Really?
I had sold like 40 of them before my actual CD release service.
Wow.
And so so then I went back and I ordered more, which I probably shouldn't have ordered as many, but it was cheaper to order the bulk of 100 than it was to order like 25 or 50, you know. So I still have CDs that I'm trying to sell. And so I've been thinking about going like to places that have you know, when you have certain things that go on, have vendors
Mm-hmm.
like go
Yes.
out and try to sell them like that. I don't know. I'll have to see.
Mm-hmm.
And I've even talked to the guy that does Greg Handy that does the gospel here on Sunday mornings
Mm-hmm.
about getting it played on the air. So it's just a matter of getting it to him, you know,
Yes.
so he can play it on Sunday mornings
Very good.
and singing about that. Yeah.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
All right, Sharon. So it sounds like you're on your way. I mean, you got it going on with the new music coming and the inspiration that comes through you. And it sounds to me like you're a psalmist. Is that what you believe you are?
Yeah.
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 Yeah, I do.
That's a gift. Everybody's not a psalmist.
Right. Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, I've been singing since I started singing at the age of 5. So it was,
Mm.
I mean, it was just there, I guess.
Comes naturally to
And
you.
my great grandmother, she taught me my first song a cappella. She had the sheet music. I had never seen sheet music before in my life, and she just had the sheet music. She says, "Come here, I'm gonna teach you this song." You know, old folks, you know.
Yes, yes.
I'm gonna teach you this song, and she sang the song to me straight through. You know, all 3 verses and everything, the chorus and everything, and then I started singing it back to her. You know, and that kind of thing, and that's how I learned it. And needless to say, it was Because He Lives by Bill and Gloria Gaither. You know, and so I remember like my first time singing it in church.
Mhm.
You know, I was just like scared
Yeah.
as ever. You know, because I was 5 and I didn't
Yes.
want to sing, and my grandma requested that I sing. And I started singing the first few words, and I just, God says, I cried the whole way through. I cried the whole way through the song. And then after it was over, one of the mothers in our church, she hugged me. She said, "I knew you could do it," you know, and I've just been singing ever since, you know. So it was very intimidating
Yes.
at first, you know.
Of course, yeah.
Looking at all those people looking at you who've known you since you were a baby, you know, watching you and watching you sing, and you're trying to sing but you're crying the whole way through the song. It's funny because that's one I remember it like it was yesterday.
Wow.
That's a memory that has stuck in my head, you know. So it's always funny to me when I won't say funny, but ironic when I see people who are singing, you know, out in public for the first time, and I'm just like, I always go back to that place in my mind, and I'm like, I remember my first time singing in front of a crowd of people. It was scary.
Scary, yeah.
It was really scary.
Sure, yeah.
But you know, so I've been doing it ever since, and I still get very, 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 very nervous
Do you?
when I have to perform or sing, you know, and I guess that's my way of remaining humble, you know, because with the nervousness, I'm never too sure of myself.
Yes.
And if I'm never too sure of myself, I can't be on this high pedestal,
Right.
you know, because at any given point in time, any given moment, something can happen. You can forget the words,
Yeah.
and I've done that a time or two.
Yeah. Oh, wow.
You can forget the words. You can start in a lower key or the wrong key, or you know, too high of a key, and then you know you're just like, but I got to sing through it, you know. So I just always try not to be. Sometimes my nerves show through. You know, but I'm always never too sure of myself to say, oh yeah, I got this. Nah, because then to me, and that's just my opinion, you know, you're not being humble. You're being like cocky, and that's one thing I never wanted to be.
No, no,
You know,
yeah.
so I tell people all the time, you will never hear me say I can sing. I've never said
Really?
that. I have never said that.
Okay.
Others have said it, and the reason I've never said it is because you may hear me, and to you I may not be able to sing. it may not sound good to your ears, but then there's somebody else that it may sound good to, you know. So I have always said, I'll never tell anybody I can sing.
Wow,
I always do what I can do and let them make that decision for themselves. You know, they like, I will say I sing, but you'll never hear me say, yeah, I can sing. Never.
And is that is your way of staying humble?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Always. Always my way. Just being like, you know.
Well, actually it's also a way of acknowledging that it's not from you, that it is a gift. That's another way that I see it too. So let's go back to when you were in church for the first time singing that solo. Did the congregation help you along? Did they encourage you? Did they sing along with you? Do you recall?
You're asking me to remember.
Well, you got through
all
it,
the details. I think they were helping me, but I don't remember it because I was so. At first, I was mad because I really didn't want to sing. I remember those emotions because what had happened, my grandma was supposed to pick me up for church, and she left me. And I've always been known to be mouthy. And I said to my mom, I was like, that little puppy dog, she left me. I called my grandma.
Oh my gosh.
I called my grandma a little dog. And my mom told her what I said.
Oh my gosh.
And so my grandma was like, oh, you did you? I was like, yeah, but I didn't mean it, Mom. I didn't mean it. And so she was like, okay, just for that, you're going to sing for me this Sunday. I was like, no, Mom, no, I don't want to. So when she requested it, I was like, no, I don't want to do it. I really don't want to do it. And then, you know, and so I remember that emotion. I was mad because I didn't really want to sing it.
Yes.
But, you know, back then, my church was full of a lot of older people who could appreciate those hymns, you know, those old hymns. So something like Because He Lives, you know, they could really appreciate it. So I don't even remember seeing once I started singing, and because I was crying, I don't remember seeing anybody else, you know. They probably were helping me sing, but I don't remember hearing anybody else. I don't remember seeing anybody because I was boo-hooing, trying to make it through the song, you know. So, but when I finished, everybody was like clapping. I do remember that. And like I said, one of the mothers in our church who worked with the young people, so she was working with us. She came up to me and hugged me, and she says, "I knew you could do it." And she hugged me for a long time, and you know, one of those cries, you know. So that's what I remember. But all in between, it's like I blacked out. I don't remember any of the other stuff. But you know, so they clapped and. Yeah, and that was it.
But that was the beginning of a new.
That was the beginning, and so the next time,
gift.
So the next time I sang, I think it was with our youth choir, and I sang had a solo part, and you know, with the youth choir, and it was, you know, everything from there. And then the next time I remember, I always sang in church, but when it came time, like when I got in middle school. I tried out for chorus, and the first tryout, I didn't make the chorus.
Really?
I didn't make it. I was devastated.
Oh my goodness, yes.
And I was like, all these people telling me they think I got a nice voice, and and they're saying I can sing, and I didn't make the chorus, you know. And so that next. I think Mr. Vaughn had tryouts like that next marking term or something like that, and so the next marking term, I made the chorus for the middle school. So and then as we went on, when we had choir concerts and things like that, I always got a solo part, you know, that kind of thing. So he was really instrumental in my focusing on the voice and making sure that I maintained my voice. And even though I almost lost it at one point in time from singing real hard and heavy in church, because there's a difference in Pentecostal church singing versus, back in the day, it was that hardcore, singing stuff. So, and I really almost destroyed my voice. So I had to work to get it back to
where it is now.
Yeah.
So what lesson did you learn, or did you learn any lessons from not making the chorus and then trying again and then making it? And
I was devastated, of course, at first, but the lesson I learned, and I think that's why I have the drive I do today. One thing for me was, if at first you don't succeed, try and try again.
Right.
So I'm the type that I'm not going to give up on something once I start doing it. I'm going to do my best to persevere and keep going until I succeed and do what I need to do and accomplish that particular goal. So
do you think you'll do that with your new CD? Let's hypothetically say that things don't turn out the way you think they will. Of course, we know it's going to be a success, but let's just say the sales aren't what you think they should be.
I mean, even if they're not, because like I said, I've got plenty of family that didn't buy the first one, which is okay, because your family is not going to support you at all times.
You sing it all anyway.
Right. So I mean, it's not going to deter me from doing what I want to do, because I do know that. I mean, I've mailed that CD, that first CD, as far as North Carolina. So I've got people that will purchase. I've done a North Carolina mailing. I've done a couple to Philadelphia to family members, but North Carolina wasn't family. They were friends of family. Who's heard me sing in church and was like, oh yeah, send and they sent their money, and voila, I sent them the CD, and things of that nature. So
Right.
So I've got people still asking about the CDs, but I'm not a charity. I'm not going to give them away. And especially, I am autographing them as I sell them. So, I'm not giving them away. It costs me something to have them made. So I've got to recoup something.
Sure.
So that's what that is. Yeah.
Well, Miss Gonzalez, it sounds like you're on your way. Yeah. You put a lot of thought into it, and you got your plan going forward in the new year. So I'm really excited to hear even more about this. And I'm just glad you came in and shared. I'm glad that you're now focusing on yourself and you're pulling away from that situation. And there's a time to help, and there's a time to focus on us. And it's all about self-care and what do we want to do. So that's self-care in all areas. You want to pursue, sounds like a dream of yours. And I feel like you're on your way in pursuing that. And I really believe it's going to be even more successful than your first. And who knows what may happen after that. So I'm really proud of you, I must say. And I'm so glad you came today. And we will talk again and see where you are next week. Okay. All right. Well, thanks for coming in.
Okay. Thank you.
To you. All right. You're welcome. 34 minutes. Oh wait. I'm still learning how to use this thing. I'm so glad the timer was on there, because I was thinking I never set the alarm. So I'm so glad that we saw. I'm like, we got to be at 30 minutes by now. Okay, that was good, Sharon. Go ahead, girl. I'm proud of you. You know I'm gonna buy a CD, right? I'm buying your CD. Okay. But because I'm like, once I finish school, I'm gonna get back out there too and start singing. So we might be out there by crisscrossing and bypassing or meeting at the same church. Who knows? Yeah. But I'm gonna get back out there and sing, because I used to sing too. in the choir, but I've
Okay.
never recorded anything. I used to sing, just like when you said Because He Lives, girl, you brought me back. I remember learning that song
Mm.
and playing it. 'Cause back then they had a little piano thing, and I played it, and I would sing along, and my grandma, mama, and daddy, Ward, and all my aunts and uncles were around.
See, that's one thing I wish I could do.
But you know what they did? They had the letter on the keys. You know, remember those in the book? It would tell you what letter to push.
Yeah.
So B, C, you know. So that's how I played it. But when you said Because He Lived, I used to sing that in church too. So I know exactly what you're talking about. I was like, oh.
Yep.
Okay, so this time we're gonna
This is
wrap
the
it
final-
up.
yeah.
Let's wrap it up. So we're gonna so we talked about your career, like your singing career. What about your teaching job? Did you say you're a teacher? Do you want to talk about that? Do you have any? How's that going?
No, let's not.
No, okay. Let's not pursue that.
Mm-mm.
What else can we talk? Okay, we talk about your singing career. She wanted us to focus on self-care.
Okay.
So, what other area could you think about, talk about? What, physical health, emotional health. We got the spiritual thing going on. We got that. Psychological, financial. Is there another area you want to focus on? Like how you can get maybe some extra money to help in your promoting your CD? I don't know. What do you think? Anywhere you want to go?
Well,
To
you're
kinda bring
saying
this all home?
self-care.
Yeah, she wanted to
So-
talk about self-care. That was a big thing. Not to focus on everybody else, but to focus on yourself. Where's my mother one? Hold on one second. Let me just tell her I'm recording. She knows it. I think she forgot. I'll let you think about that. Let me just set on recordings. What time is it? I should be home by 6. It's 5:45. I should be home by 6:30.
And like I said, I don't think she's gonna say anything if it's not 30 minutes.
No, so we can cut it short because we went over on that one.
Yeah.
I never looked at the screens. I didn't even realize that it was going. Okay. So, anything you want to talk about in particular?
No, I'll just go off the questions you asked me since this is the last session.
Okay.
And then you can give some suggestions, I guess.
Leave me alone, people. Told you I'm recording. Okay. All right. Suggestions. So we've got the singing career going well. Let's talk about let's talk about physical, because you need stamina, or let's just say your career starts to blow up
Mm-hmm.
and you're gonna need to travel. Physically, are you ready to do that? Are you prepared to do it? What do you think you can do to be ready for that? If you feel you need to do it, make
Okay.
any changes. She had mentioned exercise, and because I need to get back to the gym, I know that. But maintaining your voice,
Well, that's
make
part
sure
of
we're
self-care.
eating right. All
Yeah.
self-care, physical. Let's talk about the physical self-care. What
Okay.
things you think you can
I'll
do?
just go on what you ask, whatever you.
Oh, okay. Well, just you know
Yeah.
how to embellish and make it work. Okay. Now, let me see if I can figure it. No, I don't want to do that. How do I get out of here? I hate this thing. I don't know how to use it. I really don't. I don't know what I'm doing. Wait, I go down here. Click down here.
Today.
No,
How are
I'm
you?
not there.
I'm very well. Very
Stop.
good. I'm so glad you came back.
Oh my God.
Revealed that
Stop. There we
you
go.
did not
Do I go here? Yeah, close it out up here. See? Whew, it's